All right, boys and girls, now we're going to be moving on to example 2, finding a side of a right triangle, and I'm going to be doing the checkpoint on page 326. So if you want to look at the word problem in your book, feel free. I drew a picture representing the situation, but I'm going to go ahead and read it to you guys, okay? So basically it says, a ladder that is 16 feet long leans against the side of the house. The angle of elevation of a ladder is 80 degrees. Find the height from the top of the ladder to the ground. Okay. So whenever they give you word problems, the first thing that I would do is draw a picture. So again, I labeled everything that I have here. By the way, here the keyword is angle of elevation. When something's being elevated, it means it's being lifted. So my angle should be going up. Okay, and I say that because for the next video, you'll see it'll be a little bit different, okay? So this one's honestly very straightforward, nothing crazy. We're literally just solving for the height. So if you notice, they give us the hypotenuse, and we're going to be solving for our opposite, okay? So with that being the case, we know we have to use sine. So sine of 80 degrees equals opposite, or what I'm going to call h for height, over hypotenuse, which is 16, okay? And again, we just have to solve for it. So I kind of gave you two suggestions. I said make it into a proportion by putting over 1, or basically when you cross multiply and you solve for h, you're pretty much going to get h equals sine of 80 times 16, okay? And again, work it out if you're not sure, okay? Because I showed you in the previous video. Okay, so when it comes to this, again, you just use the calculator. And the only reminder is make sure that your calculator is in degree mode, okay? So here we go. So sine of 80 times 16. And then this is going to be your height, approximately 15.76. And then it's feet. So I would write 15.76 feet. And it's an approximation, so if you want, you could just put that, okay? Again, boys and girls, if they don't give you like round to the nearest 10th, 100th, I always try to keep it to 2, okay? So it's just a matter of preference, okay? So that's it. This is basically, you're just solving for a missing side, okay? So you just use trig. I'm going to go ahead and show you just one more, just in case, but you can always forward. I'm going to put example 3 in the same video, okay? So if you understand this, you can just fast forward. Okay, so I took the liberty to go ahead and draw my picture for the next example. So here's my picture, but let me go ahead and read you the word problem, okay? So basically it says, a ladder 10 feet long leans against the side of a house. Find the height h from the top of the ladder to the ground when the angle of elevation of the ladder is 69 degrees. Okay, so again, this is very similar to previously. So this to the previous problem. This is the house and we're looking for the height. This is where the ladder is and it's 10 feet, again, leaning against the house, and our angle of elevation is 69. So we know this is a right triangle. So we are given the hypotenuse and we're looking for our opposite side. Okay, so once again, I'm going to use sine. So sine of 69 equals opposite over hypotenuse. So h over 10. Okay, cross multiply, I should get h equals sine of 69 times 10. Okay, although you can solve for sine of 69, I don't do it. I just plug everything in the calculator. I go ahead and just let the calculator do the work for me, although I isolate h every time. So sine of 69 times 10 should give you approximately 9.34. Okay, so h is approximately 9.34 feet. Okay, and that's it. Okay. All right, so now we're going to move on to example 3. Okay, example 3 is very similar to the previous one. That's why I went ahead and included. So we're going to be doing the checkpoint on page 327. And once again, I already drew it. So let me read you the problem, or you can follow in the book. At a point 65 feet from the base of a church, the angles of elevation to the bottom of the steeple and the top of the steeple are 35 degrees and 43 degrees respectively. Find the height of the steeple. Okay, so basically what we're looking for is this height right here. Okay, that's the height. So there's a couple things we don't know. We don't know the height of the church. We don't know the height of the steeple. So they want this. And then if you don't know what a steeple is, I believe they have a picture in the same page, okay? And hopefully I'm saying it right. And then we have two angles of elevation, 35 degrees, which is within this triangle right here. And then 43 is the one where we include the steeple, okay? So technically what we're given is we're given the adjacent side and the opposite side. Well, actually we have to find the opposite, okay? So with that being said, we know this is a right angle. We're going to be using tangent because tangent uses opposite and adjacent, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with the first triangle to find the height of the church, okay? So we have tangent of 35 equals opposite, and I'm just going to call that C for church, okay? C for church, over adjacent, which is 65, okay? And again, if you cross multiply, you should end up with the church height equals tangent of 35 degrees times 65, okay? And let's see what this gives us. So now we just use a calculator. So let me clear this. And then we're going to put tangent of 35 times 65, okay? And that's going to be approximately 45.51. Okay, and it's feet. So now we know the height of the church, okay? So now we're going to do one more time, but now I'm going to use the larger triangle. So we're still using opposite and adjacent, okay? So here we go. So now it's going to be tangent, and now we're going to be using the 43 degrees. And then opposite this time is going to be the church plus the steeple, okay? So I'm going to use these letters, C for church, S for steeple, over adjacent, which is 65. So cross multiply, and I should get church plus steeple equals tangent of 43 times 65, okay? This will give me that entire length right here, okay? Or height. So let me put that in the calculator. So tangent of 43 times 65 will give me approximately 60.61. So C plus S will give me approximately 60.61. But now remember, I don't want the church plus the steeple. I just want the steeple. So earlier we found the church height. The church height was 45.51. So to get the steeple, I'm actually going to subtract the church height. And that was 45.51. Okay. And that should give me the steeple height. So steeple, oops, I used C, but I should have used S. Steeple height will be approximately, and I'm still going to put it as approximation because both values were approximations. So 60.61 minus 45.51. And that gives me approximately 15.1 feet. Again, I'm still putting it as an approximation just because both of these values were approximation. And that's my answer. Okay. Honestly, I can't give you too many hints or tricks or shortcuts here because it's a very straightforward problem. Okay. So let's do one more just in case you weren't able to follow me. And then we'll have you guys try one on your own. Okay. So here we go. Okay. So here's our extra example. And I went ahead and drew the picture. So take a look at the picture while I read you the problem. Okay. So here goes. From a point 20 feet in front of a house, the angle of elevation to the base of the chimney and the top of the chimney are 37 degrees and 45 degrees respectively. Find the height of the chimney. Okay. All right. So remember, this is the house. This is the chimney. We're trying to find the height of the chimney. And then we have two angles here. 37 and 45. Okay, obviously the bigger angle should be 45. Okay, just in case you were having trouble with that. So once again, we have a right triangle. Okay, and just to remind you, we are working with opposite side and adjacent. Okay, so once again, we're still working with tangent. So let's find the house height first. Okay, so this is going to be tangent of 37 equals opposite, which I'm just going to write H for house, over adjacent, which is 20 feet. Okay, I cross multiply, and then when I keep saying cross multiply, you have to imagine there's a 1 there. Okay, cross multiply, and I basically get H equals tangent of 37 times 20. Okay, and then go ahead and let your calculator do the work. So let me clear this. Tangent of 37 times 20, approximately 15.07. Okay, so the height is approximately 15.07. Okay, so now we're going to do this one more time using the bigger triangle. Okay, so house plus chimney. So here we go. Tangent of 45 degrees equals opposite, so it's house plus chimney over 20 feet. Okay, again, cross multiply, I should get H plus C equals tangent of 45 degrees times 20. Okay, so very similar to the previous problem. So tangent of 45 degrees times 20. And you should get approximately 20. Look at that. It's actually perfect, right? 45. Okay, so H plus C is 20. So let me write that over here because I ran out of room over there. H plus C is 20. But we know that H is 15.07. So we're going to take, chimney, and then basically subtract 15.07. So minus 15.07. And again, I'm going to make it an approximation just because one of our values, was an approximation. So 20 minus 15.07, and that should give me approximately 4.93 feet. And that should be our final answer because we want the height of the chimney. Okay. And I know earlier I had to use lowercase h, so it doesn't matter just as long as you label. Although I know the book is using lowercase h, but when I plugged it in, I used capital C and H, okay? But I did tell you what each one of those means. All right, guys, again, this one's very straightforward, nothing complicated. As long as you know your trig functions, you should be okay. All right, so go ahead and try. I'm going to give you 2 examples because one for example 2 and one for example 3. Okay, try them, check your answers. Again, if you are confused or having a hard time, please ask and jump back in the chat. If you're good, then you can move on to the next video.